Hey, what is up YouTube? Kolst here with another video. So, as we mentioned in the first card review, which I'll put a link to at the top, the Onyxia's Lair Mini-Set is coming out on Tuesday, February 15th. And as part of that, there will be an arena rotation as well, which will be a very impactful rotation. Descent to Dragons coming back for the first time in like a year and a half or something. It'll be a crazy time. But of course, this is the card review for the second batch of cards that they have released. I believe there are 8 cards in Demon Hunter, Hunter, and Druid. So let's get into that right now. So first we'll start off with Demon Hunter. The first card we have here is Wings of Hate. This is a 1-mana rank spell, which is similar to all the rank spells in the past. It upgrades when you have 5 mana or 10 mana. This is summon 2 1/1 Fell Wings. Fell Wings are 1/1 demons, and it upgrades to 3 Fell Wings at 5 and 4 Fell Wings at 10. So generally speaking, any card that is just 1 mana, summon 2 1/1s is a great arena card in general, but especially in classes that have synergies, such as, Paladin, who had Lost in the Jungle, and Demon Hunter, who has all these other kinds of demon and token synergies as well. So this is automatically going to be a really great card, even if it didn't upgrade at all, but the fact that it upgrades is just even better, right? One thing you probably won't want to fall into the trap. Some people are going to fall in the trap of holding it because they want to get the upgrades. It's really not going to be important. You're most of the time just going to want to get the impact when you have the mana to spend it, right? But overall, just a very solid card. Demon Hunter is going to really appreciate this one. Alright, so the next card we have here for Demon Hunter is Keen Reflex. It is a 2-mana spell, deal 1 damage to all minions, honorable kill, gain +1 attack this turn. So if you look at the upside scenario, this is basically like a 2-mana swipe, right? You have to take the damage, but very good. It can also go face, which could be useful as well. But if you think about it more, like, this is very similar actually to Man the Cannons, which to me was like was very disappointing because it just wasn't as good, nearly as good as I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be amazing, but when you first look at it, it's like 2-mana swipe. But the fact that it's 2-sided is a real downside. And this is 2-sided as well. The other thing with Man the Cannons was that a lot of times you would end up just using it basically as 2-mana deal 3 just to kill a single thing. And you can't actually do that with this. You have to get honorable kills or else you're not getting, the main hit part of the swipe with your face, right? So overall, it's not going to be terrible. You probably would want to use it a lot more in a slower, a more off-board style of Demon Hunter, but at least for me, I don't tend to play Demon Hunter that way, so not a card I'm going to personally be drafting a lot. But if you are going for that control style, definitely, a useful tool to have. Alright, so the next one we have here, the last card in this batch for Demon Hunter, is Razorglaive Sentinel. This is a 4-mana 5/4, pretty good already, right? And with pretty powerful text. After you play the left or rightmost card in your hand, draw a card. You guys remember back in the day when this was like something much worse than this was a legendary? Well, welcome to Arena in 2022, or just Hearthstone in general, I should say. But yeah, I don't know what to say. On curve, it's just going to be like a 4-mana 5/4, but it's one you have to kill because you're going to expect to be able to draw, 1, 2, 3 cards per turn every turn that this lasts on the board. And it's going to be an incredible late game draw as well, because then you're basically guaranteed to, chain it. And obviously every card you draw goes into the right slot of your hand. And if you have a bunch of low curve stuff, you can just keep playing the cards you draw, right? Incredibly powerful card, and this is a neutral in Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter has a smaller card pool than the rest of the classes as well, so almost all the Demon Hunters are going to have this. Basically, Demon Hunters just aren't going to run out of cards, so going to be a huge addition to the arena card pool for Demon Hunter. So with that, we'll move on to the next class, which is Druid, and there are 2 cards here for Druid, the first one being Raid Negotiator. This is a 4-mana 3/4 with Battle Cry. Discover a choose 1 card. It has both effects combined. This is a effect that has existed in the game before. There was Fandral Stallic Helm, which was, a pretty good arena card back in the day. But it were operated quite a bit differently, but it did give you, choose 1 cards with both powers. One piece of trivia was that this card was actually announced slightly differently. It used to be all of your choose 1 cards had both effects, but then, I don't know if it was a last minute nerf, they released a pre-existing version, but they actually, soon after the initial announcement, said, okay, no, actually, this is what the card does. Anyway, if you look at all the choose one cards, particularly Power of the Wild might be a good one, but generally speaking, I think you're going to want to be using this to fish for the big ones, basically, you know, like the big legendaries, for example, especially Cenarius with both choose ones. That gives you 2/4/4 taunts and a giant minion as well. So that would just be like crazy value, because otherwise, you know, you're getting like a 5 mana 6/6 rush taunt. That's good, but you know, you are paying a price to get it. So overall, definitely going to be a powerful value card for Druid, and again, a bit of a high roll potential as well, but overall going to be pretty consistent. Just overall very good card. And talking about good cards, let's move on to the next card in Druid, which is Boomkin. This is a 5 mana 4/5 choose one of the good options to get off the previous card. And the choose ones are restore 8 health to your hero or deal 4 damage. So at least like probably 90% of the time in Arena, you're going to be wanting to deal 4 damage. So basically we're looking at Fire Elemental here, right? It's about the same efficiency as Fire Elemental. It's just a, you know, and Fire Elemental is one of the best cards in Shaman. So this is just a very good card. And just that, the option to have that emergency heal 8 health, sometimes that's just what you need, right? So it's always nice to have that option. So I feel like there's not much more to say about that. Just very solid card. You'll be picking it a lot of the time when you see it, especially because Druid lacks this kind of removal right now since the core set rotation. So you're really going to like this. This is going to help Druid a lot. Oh, and it also goes face. Something to note. And with that, let's move on to the last class in this video, which is Hunter. Hunter has 3 cards here. The first one here being Dragonbane Shot. This is 2 mana spell, deal 2 damage, honorable kill, add a Dragonbane Shot to your hand. So in a large sense, this is basically like a reprint of Rapid Fire. If you didn't know, Rapid Fire was changed from 1 mana deal 1 to 2 mana deal 2. But you know, this was a twin spell, which meant you would always get 2 copies. This, you could get infinite copies, but you also might only get 1, right? And you can only use 1 towards face, so it's limited in that extent. You can't honorable kill. If you honorable kill the face, it's gone, right? So you can only do it once. So it's limited to 2 damage of reach. But yeah, this is, you know, a very flexible removal option for Hunter, potentially going to generate a lot of value sometimes. So probably not the craziest power level, just because it's only 2 damage for 2 mana every time you use it, but you know, it's a good card. Hunter will appreciate this card. Just not, I don't think it's going to be in the super premium category. And with that, we'll move on to the next card here, which is Pet Collector. This is a 5 mana 3/3 battle cry. Summon a beast from your deck that costs 5 or less. So because it's 5 or less, you know, you can't high roll into something absolutely insane like a King Crusher or a Mountain Bear or something, right? It has to be in your deck. This, you know, is kind of along the constructed theme of all these things they're trying to force to have a bunch of these, you know, the Guardians to pull like a bunch of 5 mana beasts out of your deck. In Arena though, you know, you're probably not going to want to, most of the time you're just not going to naturally build super hard around this. If you happen to have a deck where you just have 5 mana beasts, obviously that's awesome, but most of the time you won't. And there's a real risk here, because if you end up pulling like a 1 mana beast, this card is bad, really bad. But it is balanced such that if you get like a 3 mana beast, it's basically, it's all right, right? Like if you get like a 3/3 and a 3/4 for 5 mana, that's pretty good. So overall, I think on average, it's going to be pretty good, because you assume you will have beast. If you don't have any beast, it sucks, obviously, but you'll probably have some beast. It's just going to kind of be one of those cards where you look at your deck and see, do I have the right kind of cards or not? Because that's going to determine whether or not you're going to like this card. But overall, another card you probably don't want to get baited in too much, because if you think about it, like you're really just getting a 5-drop for 5 mana, and the upside is just getting a 3/3, which is good, but that's not something you want to like build your deck around super hard, like, you know, Zephyrs would be, for example. I would warn you against getting too baited by this card. Overall, though, again, I think it's decent. And with that, we're going to move on to the last card here, which is Furious Howl. 2 mana spell in Hunter again, draw a card, repeat until you have at least 3 cards. So basically this is yet another reprint of, you know, like the Voracious Reader type of cards. So let's just compare it directly compared to this. Well, the downside is you don't get a minion, right? And you can only do this 1 time. But the upsides are, it's 1 mana cheaper. You can actually draw a card if you have more than 3 cards. You can always cycle it if you're really desperate. And possibly the biggest benefit is that, you know, if you do manage to get a bunch of draws off of this, you don't have to wait until the end of the turn. You can play the cards you draw immediately. So overall, I feel like, you know, when you compare it to like Voracious Reader, I feel like one draw, if you could get like 2 or 3 draws, that was often really all you needed. So I think this card is going to be overall better than the Voracious Reader. Because I think all the upsides I mentioned of this are going to be a bit superior to the Voracious Reader. But now, Voracious Reader was not always a card you would want to draft in Arena. A lot of times in Hunter, you will like to draft aggro if you are that type of player. You know, obviously some people like to play Control Hunter as well. If you're a Control Hunter, you're probably not going to want this card because it's basically 2 mana, draw 1. But in an aggro deck, this is going to be amazing, amazing refill. So in the right deck, incredible. In the wrong deck, not nearly incredible. Because a lot of decks, and really even the average Arena deck, a lot of times will have trouble emptying their hand enough to get use of this before the game is effectively over already. But with that, that is it for this wave of cards. I'm going to be recording yet another wave of cards because there is a third one that has come out as well, so I'll be seeing you guys very soon yet again. So yeah, thanks a lot again for hanging out. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, comment on what you think about all these cards, and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of Arena content. But yeah, thanks a lot again. We'll see you guys in the next one.